Greetings, everybody, and friendly internets. We're here. It's going to be game number 3, the deciding game, as I need to change my overlay once again. But guys, I do want you to know that this is the TQ Invitational Semifinals. It is awesome to see these guys playing. Pokebunny is an invited player from this tournament, representing VT Gaming, going up against someone who actually qualified to this tournament through one of the 4 qualification tournaments, and actually ended up beating Root Didero in a best of 3 to get to this semifinal. So Pokebunny is the green Terran on the right. You'll notice that the map is Shattered Temple. Very interesting to see this map being chosen by Roses, as Roses did lose the last game. It's interesting to see him pick this map, as it's interesting because it's a ladder map, and this might go to show that Rose is just a little less refined than Pokebunny in the fact that he's choosing a map that is in a ladder pool and he gets to play constantly. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to be played, especially because it's also a sort of pseudo-lost temple. So Pokebunny should actually be fairly good on this map. Pokebunny could definitely have an opportunity to be more used to the GSL maps, iCup maps, through the increased amount of tournaments that he's played in. Because Roses, I don't know if he has any major tournaments to his name, but he's clearly a solid player. He might be one of those pure ladder players that just enjoys the game and just got into a tournament for the fun of it and is now showing to be incredibly powerful. However, Pokebunny is shown to really have just a better knowledge of macro and controlling macro to Roses, as just throughout the game, Roses just keeps getting farther behind in terms of food count, macro, controlling of SCV counts, and all of that, as Pokebunny is just able to inch out a little bit more after every single time that after every single minute the game passed. So I'll be very curious to see what these guys are really deciding to do. And while they're going to do that, I'm going to take a second to say hypercrew.com is awesome. You should go there, support Hypercrew. They casted a lot of this tournament. So big points to them for helping out TQ in that respect as well. If you guys want to see VODs of this tournament, they'll be on youtube.com/zanderfeverSC. And if you want to hold a tournament of your own, you can go to zeek.com, z33k.com, and make your own tournament there. And Roses is, well, did it say MLG in the title? And we're going to go ahead and figure that out. Roses did create the map. Then it's not MLG. Okay, so this is just regular Blizzard Shattered Temple, and Pokebunny is going to go ahead and play this game normally. Now, this should not be a huge deal. This is an MLG Shattered Temple. It's a mirror matchup, so generally there's nothing really to worry about there. And now Pokebunny is saying that's a shame. I'm not sure what the change is in MLG Shattered Temple compared to the normal Shattered Temple, but it shouldn't be too significant in a TVT. Oh, it's cross only. No close. Oh, again, so it's the same exact thing as Metalopolis. You just cannot spawn in these positions. So that's a very, very good thing to see. So now Pokebunny is just going to continue to macro up in a very, very good deal. So now what are these guys going to go ahead and doing? That is going to be very interesting to see. This Roses is continuing. You see the macro. You see again, Pokebunny is just up by a few points every single time. So now, apparently it's a random blink bug that's been fixed in this map for the MLG version. So, okay, guys, this is the deciding game, which is going to be awesome to see. VTPokebunny is going to go ahead and get a starport, because he's going for a 1-1-1 build. He's in a tech lab on this starport, on this factory, which means that he could be swapping this out to get Banshees, or just go for a normal tank Viking sort of play earlier on. We'll see. Look, there is a tank being produced. We look over here in Roses. He's got a starport on the way as well. But looks like he's going to do the same thing as Pokemon, but just slightly behind. Again, Rose is just proving to be not as refined. We have 23 SCVs out for Pokebunny and 22, or just 21, just went to 22 for Roses. So this is definitely curious to see how it's going to play out if Roses can win with a better positioning, as his army composition does seem to be better than Pokebunny's by a little bit. It's just Pokebunny wins with macro after a few battles. It just ends up being in his favor. It just definitely goes to show the value of mechanics and macro capabilities, because then you can just win because you can just replenish your army slightly faster. If you lose a little bit less than your opponent. It just continues to encapsulate the essence of StarCraft over time in the fact that it is mostly an economic economic game as opposed to just a straight, I'm going to control my units perfectly and kill all of yours without losing anything type of game, because you can eventually just overrun your opponent that way. But here we go. Pokebunny again with that first Hellion, trying to get the scout that way, but he's got, free Marines. That's always nice for your opponent to give you. Generally, you don't want to give free units of your army to your opponent. It's kind of not a good way to win a war game. But it seems like Rose is going to go ahead and oblige Pokebunny in that respect. Now here we go, elevating units. We do have SCVs being pulled, tank being down there, and everything being elevated up by Pokebunny over there. But to go ahead and go for the low ground now, SCVs being worthless, but Pokebunny just giving free units to Roses now. So for Pokebunny, just responding with a free Marine, it's like, oh hey, you want some of my army? I'll give you some. You give me some of yours. It's like a free trade, except I'm going to give you more units as I want to do a bad positioning sort of thing. Rose's command center has actually done those. So Roses, again, playing for the economy in game number 3, did the same thing against Diderot in their best of 3, going for economy, and ended up paying well for him, as Pokebunny is actually getting an expansion, which is better than what Diderot did, as Diderot just made an all-in push and lost. But here we go. Drop going to be happening down here, but this siege tank is going to do a great job of defending it. Look at that. Range is perfect in defending this entire area from any Marines that try and plop down. Pokebunny's got to realize this and not push in. Here you have Vikings on the field for Rose. It's going to go ahead and start attacking units. We have one Viking now for Pokebunny, but it is damaged. This is really vulnerable. And look at that. Great move by the Marines to move up and prevent the Vikings from doing too much damage over there. Siege mode is completed for Roses. I don't think Pokebunny's got his siege mode out quite. Always seems to get that a little bit late. But here we have his command center almost done. He's got control of this mill watchtower now. He needs to repair these guys, as he's very vulnerable to the Vikings that Roses has right now. So Roses, even with being a little behind in terms of macro skill, is going to have his economy up faster by having his expo up faster than Pokebunny's. Here it looks like Pokebunny's going to go ahead and try and push in yet again. But it's a very strong siege tank wall. Not very many Marines, really. But Pokebunny needs to have siege mode if he's going to want to have a hope of really dealing with this army composition. Let's see if he's even researched it yet. He's not researched it yet. So that is bad for Pokebunny. That's going to be a very, very vulnerable thing. If you're going to have unsiege tanks going against siege tanks, you need to have a spread, and you need to have more siege tanks. If you have less siege tanks, you're going to do very, very horribly, especially if your tanks can't get into attacking distance of your opponents. So we'll be very curious to see how Pokebunny's going to go ahead and control this. He does have a solid contain. He's probably going to know about this expo just by the positioning. He's also seen the expo. That's another way to know about the expo. But here we go. Units being, Pokebunny taking a lot of losses in that little bit of an engagement. But here we go. Pokebunny spreading his tanks without siege mode. There we go, another scan from Pokebunny, seeing the wall of siege tanks down there. But again, Roses has all of these Vikings that Pokebunny just cannot handle. Pokebunny is not even producing the Vikings. However, he does have a where is it? There it is. There's the reactor starport with Medivacs on the way. Interesting choice. And here we go, attack moving in. But look at this, Roses. He needs to move up his siege tanks. And there's a scan, going to see Pokebunny's base, and there it is, Roses going to move in. We're having a full engagement, but Pokebunny is a better concave, but there are SCVs in here in the battle with Roses. But look at this, the food counts are plummeting for Roses, not for Pokebunny. Oh my god, there's GG from Roses. Pokebunny just winning without siege mode, doing very well. Pokebunny's going to move on to the finals against DDE, playing very, very well. The great economy. Roses doing a great showing for the people trying to qualify in this tournament, showing that you can do so without being a huge name player.